Yo, 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 what's good? It's your boy VA. That's AJ, and this is the HR
Yes, sir.
Podcast.
It's the HR podcast.
Yes, sir. We are back for another edition. It's been a quick minute, but as you know, we're trying to keep these things rolling. So, as we always do, we get right into it with the Contender segment.
Ding, 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 ding.
And we starting it off with some NFL, AJ. NFL free agency just kicked off. It's
been wild.
It's been a pretty interesting, to say the least, free agency with some late bloomers. I guess late to the partiers in the Cowboys. We'll keep them to the side because they ain't really do nothing. But first off, we swiping left to right on this, AJ.
No, we swiping right. There was so much action.
Right. Got to get into
Right
it. Got into it. So I'm gonna let you kick it off, AJ, with this one.
All right, man. First thing that comes to mind, I know it's not my segment.
I'm
but
right,
anyway,
we on the right one.
The first thing that came to mind, right, is NBA free agency. And I say that because the NFL free agency literally outdone the NBA free agency for me this year. Or at least it seemed like that because there was so much happening with big name players that I was like, dang, I thought maybe I was missing Woj bombs or something like that, but no, it's all NFL news. So there were some surprising names, some surprising teams doing some things, and honestly, it felt good.
Right.
Unless you're a Cowboy fan. But, I mean, for the most part, I'll just throw out three surprising things that happened to me. Just the other day, Calvin Ridley got sent for like 90-something mil for like 3 years.
Crazy.
And I'm like, he's good, don't get me wrong.
But 90,
is he worth that
mil? Much
money?
Yeah, but then he
that's
stayed though there, right? He stayed in Jacksonville, right?
No.
Where'd he sign at?
Oh yeah, you're right. He did.
Okay,
I thought he was with Atlanta.
Yeah, no, I think he re-signed.
Okay. Well, I had to Google it, but still, just the money alone threw me off, and I was like, dang, that's a lot of commitment to this young man.
Right.
Another one, obviously, is I don't know how I feel about a VA, but Saquon.
I was about to bring that one up
Eagles.
first, too. That was the one I really wanted to talk about.
The thing, and I'm pretty sure we might not be talking about the same thing, or at least where my mind's at anyway. But where my mind went straight to was they took a leap of faith in acquiring Saquon for their already championship level team.
Right.
Because in my history, and I've been watching football longer than Saquon's been in the NFL, he has not been healthy. I think maybe 1 year, and that was a signing year for him. Was he healthy and played most of the season? Every single other season, he's been down with injury bug. And I don't care if Eagles get stuck with the injury bug. I hate to say it. They in our conference.
Be tripping either.
But at the end of the day, like for a franchise and you making those decisions, like that's something you got to think of, right? Don't get me wrong. Them on paper looks extremely great. At least the offense anyway. But
it's like they're trying to be the 49ers right now. That's what it feels like.
And basically they had solid running backs, but they had to do the one that's over the top, right? And put the most closest thing you can to Christian McCaffrey. Yeah, and
again, I'm not mad at that either.
And when you look at that, I'm glad you said that because Christian McCaffrey, same thing. He always bit by the injury bug too. So maybe it'll wash.
Right.
But that's my second one. And then my third one was that Joey Bosa got signed again, which was kind of a big deal to me, right? Because he's a Bosa brother.
You got to pay him, though.
Top in his position. Yeah, you got to pay him. Like, he's going to be in your ring of honor.
Yeah.
But they didn't sign the other captain.
Keenan Allen?
What was his name? No, they
traded him.
They let him wash. Yeah, he's gone.
Oh, you talking about? I thought they re-signed him.
The other defensive player, he should be in the ring of honor too. Khalil Mack.
Yeah.
He came from the Bears. He's had some transfers, but the dude's, solid all the way around too.
He's solid.
But I think it was a classy move on the franchise specifically to keep Bosa because he's going to go in your ring of honor. Right. He's probably going to retire there. He'll probably take a pay cut if it comes down to it, just to stay the longevity of his career there and retire.
But he'll get paid. He would have got paid there. That much to leave too. So,
Well, I don't know if he gets hurt or if he gets a little too old for the position. These young cats coming up and they're going to take your spot. That's what's going to happen.
You're right.
Nobody beats Father Time. But those are the three things that popped off to me fast and early. What about you, VA?
First one on my list was Saquon to the Eagles, man. I just feel like I can't knock the move because they needed to get. I mean, I'm not gonna say they needed to get better because honestly, they did. They had a great running back in DeAndre Swift. Letting him go. Maybe I said his name wrong, DeAndre maybe, but Swift letting him go to me. When you could have re-signed him for a team-friendly deal, in my opinion, and then overpaying for a running back who has injury issues, to me was a reach for that GM, Howie Roseman, which I think he is a great GM, way better than what we got in Jerry Jones at the Cowboys. And then,
it could have been a Jerry Jones move, though, right?
But Jerry Jones is only builds through the draft. He don't really sign big free agents. It's rare. So in this case, they move. They get players all the time, whether they hitting or missing. They missed on that Leonard guy, safety they brought in from Tennessee last year that everybody wanted. Missed on him. But hey, you win some, you lose some. And this is the same case right here. Like, it's either going to be a great addition or it's going to be a failure by the GM because he can't stay healthy. Either way, again, like you said, they look good on paper. I'm eager to see them on the field. I know Saquon is definitely motivated with that contract given. They had a lot of faith in him, giving him that contract. And then he wants to prove his division rivals, Giants, wrong for not paying him. So he got a lot of motivation to be like Chris McCaffrey when he came over to the 49ers.
And if Jalen Hurts can bring it back.
Right. Which, how can you not with that backfield, bro? When them receivers, how can you not? I see them being hard to beat again this year. My second big acquisition, honestly, I got to say Kirk Cousins, man. Seeing him go to Atlanta, to me, that was a nice move by that GM in Atlanta and the new coach. Bringing some stability to that position, which they haven't had in decades, bro. I'm thinking back to Vince.
Matty Ice.
Who? you going
Ice.
back really far. I'm talking about since Vince. Michael Vick. Michael Vick
was before Matty Ice.
Damn, was that long ago, bro?
Yes, bro. That's why it feels like that. Matty Ice at least took them to the Super Bowl. They just flopped.
Yeah, I guess so. I guess you're right. But to me, since that time, it's been a long time. So getting that locked off, bro, whether it's Kirk Cousins or someone of a little bit less stature.
And he's repping the A2 with them dirty dog chains.
You saw them, bro?
Dirty Birds chains.
His sons got them, bro.
Funny.
So that was pretty nice. And I like him. I like Kurt. I think he's a solid QB. Like, you can't count on him to shine in the playoffs, but they ain't even sniffed the playoffs. So that's a good deal for them. They needed that. So I like that signing. On another note, Cowboys didn't do nothing. We know that, but I'm not mad at the drops. They released Van Der Esch, which to me was just a bad contract waiting to happen. You just can't trust him with them neck injuries. He's always hurt. Then they let go of Michael Gallup. I'm sorry, he wasn't worth the money that they paid for him. He was an afterthought.
You're right. He wasn't worth the money.
Yes, that's what it was.
He was solid.
He is solid.
I'm
not knocking his game at all. But he wasn't getting the touches. It was you're paying him to be a third string backup at this point because he don't get no touches.
Well, whose fault is that?
I'm not putting it on him. But if you're not going to do nothing with him,
that's fair.
Then don't pay him. Don't pay him like you use him. Because honestly, it was CeeDee Lamb, it was Brandon Cooks. That was it. And
I don't know about Brandon Cooks, but
Brandon Cooks came along,
in the mix.
bro. He came along.
To long distance plays,
right?
Yes.
But he was a clear cut number
plays,
2 though.
Yes.
That was what I was getting at. And Michael Gallup was being paid like the number 2, and he's not. They were better off keeping Mark Cooper if they were going to do that. So
that wasn't going to happen.
So I'm good with that move. Another two big things that are kind of underrated is the Eagles losing their center in Jason Kelce. and Fletcher Cox. I've been waiting on them to retire forever, bro. Thank the Lord they up out of there. Because I'm tired of seeing them. They are with some great players that I've seen for too long. They need to retire. Thank the Lord.
All they did was pass along that tush push.
Right.
Though. Whoever's coming in is learning it.
Yeah, whatever. But I'm glad they up out of there. So it's a lot of movement, like you said. There was a lot of receivers getting paid. But that's to be expected.
Yeah,
but
a lot.
But this was probably by far the most movement I've seen by running backs. It was like they were just jumping from team to team. Like you would get an alert about somebody going here, someone going there. Adam Jones now playing for the Vikings.
Aaron Jones.
Aaron Jones now playing for the Vikings, which is crazy. Them dropping him in order to get who would they sign?
Josh
Jacobs, bro. I wanted the Cowboys to get him so bad. He is a beast, bro.
It wasn't
he
gonna
is
happen.
reliable.
But supposedly we might get Green Bay's backup running back, which is AJ Dillon, which he's still pretty solid.
He is.
I feel like
I had him in my fantasy. He's nice, bro.
Yeah.
He's nice.
Any legitimate running back or like even a strong second guy is going to be a good player for Dallas.
Yes. Donald did well. He's probably going to come back because I haven't seen him get no real traction in the free agency either. And he was nice.
Yeah.
I liked him. And the Redskins getting Akers. No, not Akers. What's the guy from the Chargers? The running back.
Oh, Eckler.
That was huge.
Yeah.
That's huge for them. I mean, honestly,
And the Commanders.
that's what I'm saying. Waste of talent. I mean, but they look half decent. Now, if I gotta say some winners and losers right now, I'm gonna go with the Bears as a sneaky dark horse winner because I feel like getting Keenan Allen for a fourth was a huge pickup. On top of you got the number 9 pick and the number 1 pick, and you.
Yeah, but they ain't got nobody to give them the ball though.
You talking about running back or quarterback?
No, I'm talking about QB.
Man, bro, you already got QB. They gonna draft Caleb Williams. And he's gonna go at number 1.
You think so?
I think so, bro. Like you can't pass up on a generational talent like that.
After all that mess, he was talking about I don't want to be there.
Yeah, but he came back
there.
out though and was like saying that, hey,
I'm sorry.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I would definitely love to play for this organization because come on,
That's
bro.
wish-washy though, man. And yeah, they do look solid, but I mean, for a first year,
DJ Moore,
the way
Keenan Allen now,
they look solid on paper, man. They're solid on paper. But the way he played last year at USC, and I know it was the entire team. Like, there's no way that's sketchy, man. I'm not gonna lie. Coming off an entire year of not coming above 500 at least, like the Bears did. I mean, they didn't do that well last year, but at the end of the day,
they didn't.
Like I feel like they've been kind of climbing, and then last year kind of was a dump.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. Yeah, I guess you're right. It's gonna be interesting because he's gonna be the next one to be anything legit.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. So I mean, it's a nice off season. I'm eager now for the NFL season to start because this is so much movement with even QBs. A lot of QBs are moving around. Gardner Minshew. I'm eager to see how he's gonna do for the Raiders, and then the Raiders might trade for Justin Fields. I'm hearing that would be to me a nice pickup for that team. But like I said, I'm excited. On to the next one. Caitlin Clark passes Pistol Pete Maravich for the all-time NCAA scoring record. You swiping left or right on this one, AJ?
We're swiping right.
Okay.
Respect gotta give where respect gotta give.
Yes, sir.
Go ahead.
Yeah,
man.
I'm gonna kick it off. Caitlin Clark, man, I'm not gonna lie. I probably heard about her more than I actually got to watch as far as her games. To me, Iowa was as good as they were last year. They didn't really live up to it this year. They are decent now. They're not bad, but I just feel like I'm less motivated to see them. Well, not motivated, but I'm less. I'm not as sure about them.
They're top 10.
I know, but I'm not sure about them going deep in the actual tournament. Just because.
Yeah, because you're living and dying by her.
Exactly right. I've watched enough games even this year to see like they don't really got nobody else. She has to create everything, and they have a couple good, decent players. I'm not saying they're trash by any means, but as far as winning the tournament, bro, I don't see them beating South Carolina. I don't see them beating LSU. I don't see them beating Stanford. Like, there's multiple teams I don't see them beating. And I say all that to say that she's had a great career, obviously the best career ever. Just passing Kelsey Plum's record was a huge feat that I didn't think was going to happen. But not only that, to pass everybody's record for the all-time scoring, like her step backs, her moves, like at 6 foot, man, she is definitely reminds me of Ionescu. And they're in that same ballpark as far as like generational talents when it comes to shooting, bro. Like, they're just another level. She just became actually the highest NIL player now ever. This is the perfect time for her to come out. Just got the record. Might as well enter the draft. Consensus #1 to Indiana Fever. I just think that it's been a storybook ending for her. Especially, I don't think anybody could have saw this happening from someone who went to Iowa. Iowa's obviously good. I'm not knocking them, but they are not someone you think, you know, they're not highly, like, you see the team, bro. Like, the team is like very plain white bread, bro. It's not like ain't a lot of like players jumping out except Caitlin. She was like an anomaly, honestly. And I'm really excited for her in WNBA. I just think that time will tell as far as that record, because the game of basketball is evolving so much. Like, I don't see her record lasting as long as Pistol Pete's did.
Well, I don't know if I'm breaking news to you or not breaking news to you. But there's a couple things that I want to throw. I hate to say it because you were completely right. I want to give credit where credit's due. Caitlin Clark is up there, man. Like, I'd say she's probably the biggest star for me coming out of female college basketball since Maya Moore.
Right. That's a big comparison, man. Maya Moore, I love her.
Yeah.
Maya Moore, she was phenomenal. But
she
won titles.
Legit,
that was
bro.
the difference.
Yeah. Well, yes, but I'm not sure I'll put her like right there. But I mean, she's in the vicinity, right? Like, very rare people are going up there with her. Now, when I come and say this, I forgot the lady's name, but based off of interviews that I've watched and stuff from YouTube, legitimate sources though, legitimate female WNBA players, there was some female basketball player that had the most points all time. She was a black woman, but they started the conference or something they weren't in or whatever, didn't start accounting those points accumulated.
Okay, yeah.
You know what I'm talking about? Has you heard about that?
No, I didn't hear about that, but I've heard about that happening in general.
Yeah, so she was technically and still the all-time leading scorer for women's basketball, but it doesn't count, right? So I hate to throw that little asterisk up there, but I feel like that's important.
It is important.
Like,
is that the black lady she passed on the list?
No.
Oh, it was a totally different lady?
Yeah, I forgot. I want to Google her real quick, but I don't want to mess up anything.
Right, nah, yeah.
But yeah, I forgot her. I should have looked into it, and I forgot about it. But I found out about this about 2-3 weeks ago, and I was like, dang, that's clutch to know.
Right.
Neither here nor there.
I think same for like, I compared it to like Wilt. You know, I'm pretty sure there's some records that it wasn't taking all full record.
He didn't have no threes and stuff, you know.
Yeah.
Another caveat that I want to throw out there is Cheryl Swoops, right? Cheryl Swoops had, yeah, I remember my sister rocked her shoes when they first came out.
Right.
Cheryl Swoops threw some controversial stuff out there, right? I'm not going to get into it, but regarding Caitlin Clark, what I think that I got from that the best was that basically she was saying that Caitlin Clark is a good player. She's going to transition into the WNBA just fine. But when you look at her and the level that she's playing, is she going to be able to compete consistently with the caliber of literally all-stars that are out there in the WNBA and still make that transition and still be at that level, right?
Right.
Kind of like when the Wemby came in last year. Like, is he holding his expectations as high,
Right.
or is who was the number 1 overall draft pick last year for the WNBA?
It was it had to have been the girl from.
It's a girl from South Carolina.
South Carolina, right?
I think so. But even if it wasn't, right?
Yeah, it was.
But to relate it, like, you have Paige Beckers. When she first came in, she was playing with UConn.
Right.
Like, she was up there.
I follow up, gotta
and
be
then
studied,
now
bro.
she's not really being talked about.
I mean,
you know?
injuries
So,
robbed her. She actually got another extra year eligibility, so I think next year she'll start to rise up. But that whole organization fell off. Like, that got to be part of functional work, bro. Because UConn is, I don't know what happened.
You're right about that. Yeah, downfall real quick. I mean, you know, it's inevitable. You can't win them all.
Stay up
eventually,
forever.
you got to calm down. But to go back on that, right? Like, it is possible, like that these players at Caitlin Clark's caliber cannot be as good, right? We're coming up into another segment later on, and I'll remember when I say it, because I'm gonna say it, but I'll point him out. But I got to give Caitlin Clark where her credit is. She's good. I can't wait to see what she does in WNBA. I can't wait to see what her team does in the tournament, because I know they're going to live and die by her, but I think she's going to be able to make it work, man.
Right.
And it would be good to see her play a team like South Carolina or the LSU, because I don't think they have very many matchups, if any. So I'm anxious to see what's going to happen with her. I'm looking to see if she's going to get just as cool as a shoe as Sabrina Ionescu. I'm looking forward to all the things that she will deserve.
Facts. On to the next one. We got Karl Anthony Towns. That man is out indefinitely. They were number 1 seed at one point in time, Minnesota Timberwolves. With him being out,
they still might
right?
be.
I mean, no, they've dropped. I think now it's OKC, the Nuggets.
Damn.
Yeah, them. They still top 3. So I'm not.
Yeah.
But they probably going to keep falling. They've been doing decent though. Now you've got Anthony Edwards as a dark horse for MVP, which
super
right.
dark.
You never know. Darkness levels.
Darky dark.
You never know. You swiping left or right on this one, AJ?
I hate to say it, man. I love talking NBA, but I'm gonna have to swipe left. I feel like Karl Anthony Towns doesn't get the respect he deserves, right? But that's why it's so important that he's out, because now that team's dipping.
Right.
So I hope he gets,
hopefully he's back.
soon.
They say
He's
he might
not
be
gonna
back for the
come back
playoffs.
this
They
year.
said maybe for the playoffs, bro.
I mean, maybe it's a long shot, bro, because he gets out there. I mean, he might pull a KD and get hurt even longer.
I mean, if B can come back, then he can come back. We're gonna see both of them.
I guess.
All right, on to the next one. Best teams currently in the play-in, which in the play-in we got in the West right now: Lakers, Golden State, Dallas Mavericks, and it's been going back and forth. I know that it was Phoenix Suns. They've been dipping in and out. I think right now it's Phoenix Suns, but they've been dipping in and out with the Kings. So got them in the West. In the East, we got, I'm not even gonna lie, I'm not even sure who's in the play-in right now in the East. But
well, that's why it don't matter, because there's bigger gaps in between them.
yeah,
It's all comes down to the
way
West.
tighter in the West. I'm swiping left or right on this one, AJ.
I mean, I hate to say it, but we swiping left. I feel like certain teams can turn that switch on, right? Some of them are capable of doing that and making a little run. The Lakers made it to the finals last year, or the Western Conference
Out
finals
of the play-in,
last year.
right? Or did it?
Out of the play-in.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, it's possible.
Right.
I mean, then they got swept. So, I mean, we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
I feel like there's a couple of teams that can throw that switch, but left it is.
All right, bet. On to the next. Keep it moving. So, next topic is going to be best teams since the NBA trade deadline. Swiping left or right on this, AJ.
You're swiping right.
All right, bet. Let's get into it. Go ahead and kick it off.
Well, first off, I feel like only a few teams made actual solid moves. Your team in particular, very good. They
Solid
had been
move.
winning. They had been winning,
Yeah.
and they still are winning. But it is on Luka's. Well, two things. It's on Luka's injury, right?
Right.
And I feel like, and I didn't really pay attention to this because to me it doesn't matter because this is where the team success comes from. Luka has the ball most of the time in his hands. He's making plays for himself. He's making plays for the team. He's not selfish by any means. But if Luka doesn't take majority of the shots, they don't have a chance of winning.
No.
They might have a chance of winning with Kyrie here and there, but they run through Luka. Dallas runs through Luka, and that's how it's gonna stay until he's gone. In which I don't see that ever happening.
Right.
Nonetheless, Dallas looks really good. Again, Phoenix looks really good. I'm not really sure if they made.
And I didn't really see them make huge moves, but they didn't really need to.
I'm not exactly like you said last time. Like sometimes the best thing is not doing nothing at all.
Right.
And their thing is injury plague too. Right now, the whole NBA is going through a lot of injury.
We'll talk about that later.
Yeah, I can say that for me, it all comes down to the West, and because I think that's who's going to win it this year again.
Yeah.
But there wasn't any really big names in, like we talked about last time. There was a couple of names, good deals, but nothing that's going to put the team like over the edge. Like Dallas is the only one. So, in my mind, anyway.
Okay. Yeah, I'm kind of with you on that. When it came to the best team since the NBA trade deadline, I mean, you can't even say the Mavericks are the best team. They're in 8th place, you know. But I mean, as you said earlier, it's super tight, bro. It's literally
from
a game
to a
game and a half
to the 10th team.
Yes, bro. I haven't seen it like this in a long time. Like it's agonizingly tight. I mean, it's just like literally, you lose one game, you can drop 2 spots, and then the next night be back up 1. Like it's just, it's about, at this point, it's about who can stay the healthiest. Because if you got your main star out because of an injury, whether they resting from a back-to-back or they've been out, you've got a chance of dropping, bro. It could be, huge. Every game is that important. The schedules that's left, I think, is important as well, because some of these teams have a lot.
Strength of schedule.
Right, strength of schedule is huge right now. Right now, it's easier for me to say the teams that fell off that I thought would stay stronger. Clippers, one of them. First one I could think in mind. James Harden came back down to earth. Injuries starting to play them. We'll talk about that later. But Kawhi, Paul George has to sit out every other couple games too for injury management. So like I said before, I'll believe it when I see it with the Clippers, but they already started to come back down to earth, getting closer to that 5 spot. As far as the best teams in my mind, it's got to be defending champs. As I said before, bro, I'll never count the Nuggets. I feel like that they're gonna win it again. They look solid against Boston, bro. Like convincingly solid. Like
it came easy to them in Boston.
It was like Boston didn't belong in the finals with them. It looked like, whenever the Nuggets played the Heat last year, it was like, why are y'all here? Like, why are you boys on the court with us? And speaking of that game in general, Tatum, bro, came back down to earth. Everybody wanted to put him in the MVP conversation, bro. I was one of them. But as you saw, he has not stepped his game up in crucial big time games and in the playoffs. His team is stacked. Like, they are going to make the finals, whether it's because of him or not. Like, Jaylen Brown has been playing out of his mind. They still got Porzingis shooting better than ever. They have a freaking defensive specialist in Jrue Holiday, who's been playing solid.
He could turn on the points too.
Right, exactly. Like, they don't need Jason Tatum to be Superman. They just need him to be at least a Robin at times. Like, just don't fall off completely and they'll be fine. But
But I think that's what they expect.
right, but I mean, they try to put him on this pedestal that he really ain't there yet.
Yeah.
He's just not there yet. But that doesn't mean he can't be. But I got them still as still the best team. Like them in the East, it's still Boston. I feel like my dark horse is still Indiana, because they lost one of their key starters. I mean, backup point guards, Matherin. He's nice. They lost him for the year. That was huge to me.
There's something about him I don't like, but he's got game.
Right. Same here. I think he's a little too cocky for someone his age, but he's back. He's been backing it up for the most part. OKC, I just can't believe in them. They almost lost to Dallas with no Luka. Like, come on, man. Like, that should have been a blowout. It was a tight game.
You know what though, man? They're the youngest team in the whole league.
The youngest, bro.
And
the number 2 seed.
And things happen.
And they look good.
I think
though.
that's where they're gonna get plagued in the playoffs is the playoffs because they haven't had a lot of experience in it.
Yeah.
I think they're one of those teams though that can be like, hey man, we're the young ones. Everyone's kind of out. Let's flip the switch. And I think they're gonna prove some people wrong, but we'll see what's gonna happen.
I'm very torn about them, bro. Like I would not bet on them if my life depended on it. Like the playoffs are so
I'm not
much
throwing
about
no money up.
bro. The playoffs are so much about matchups in the NBA more than any other sport I can think of. Because OKC, they can destroy some teams, but they can be matchup problems with other. I think if Dallas, if they would have stayed 2 seed and Dallas was to win the playoff matchup out of the 8-9, bro, that's what I'm saying, bro. Like if Dallas makes it into that 7 8 range and wins that first game, and they got OKC first round, it's gonna be a problem for OKC, bro. Because Luka and Kyrie, they can't do nothing with them.
Realistically, the 4 teams that are within 6 through 10. I mean, any one of those teams can possibly make a far playoff push.
Yes.
Like, that's what's so crazy about it. So, I mean, you are right. I wouldn't put money on OKC, but I think they got the switch, or they could.
Well, they've already been switched up. Like they've been doing phenomenal all year, bro. Like they have been. Like I told you last year, like I saw them being a good team this year. I did not see them being number 2 in the West / number 1. Like they're literally like a half a game back or something. Like they've been just phenomenal.
And they're set up for the future.
They are
like
big
they got
time,
picks
bro.
coming on
Picks
like
galore.
crazy.
All they core is young. Like it's just been outside of Shea. They got Jalen Williams, who's been nice, 3-and-D guy, and he can do everything. They got Holmgren. What's the hype?
Holmgren.
I don't know.
Chet.
We're gonna keep it at Chet.
Yeah.
I think it's Holmgren. But he's been nice, bro. I mean, they look.
And I feel like
ready.
he hasn't even fully turned on his
not
game.
at all, bro. Not at all. He's just kind of like just fitting in the groove. It's like they're like college players where they're all like phenomenal, and it's like they're just trying to see who got it tonight. But Shea is a clear-cut leader. I saw a thing with him early the game before the Mavs game, when he was like stat padding to get that 30. Like I hate that shit. I mean, I know players do that, but like it was so blatantly obvious. Like, dude, like.
Well, yeah, but I mean, he's also literally he's the number 2 candidate for MVP right now.
No, but bro, come on, like.
And he should have been in the running the last 3 years. He's been balling out his mind.
True.
And so I get it, but they all look at the stats for the Joker, and so might as well get it. I mean, Giannis is guilty of doing that.
100%
LeBron's guilty of doing that. So I mean, hey, we're talking about MVPs. There you go.
Right. So I mean, like you, man, I believe in the Mavs, but it's just gonna be matchup based. Like their defense has been very bad. Their centers, though, bro, like Gafford, almost got Wilt's record, bro.
Balling.
That was huge. That was cool.
That was cool.
And I wish he would have. He would just passed that one shot, because the one he missed, it was like very contested. It was like it was gonna be hard to go in anyway.
He should have got a foul.
He should have got a foul. Wish it would have made it not a field goal attempt. It should have been a foul, but you know how these refs are. But the 2 after that he makes. So I'm like, bro, if you just would have,
just would have refs been tripping lately.
Yeah, bro, the reffing has been bad, man. I mean, like it's been like really bad, blatantly inconsistent, and that Detroit game against the Knicks was robbery, bro.
Oh yeah.
DiVincenzo tackled my boy. Amen. One of the Thompson brothers tackled that man. And this ref is right there, just oops, let me get out the way, and just threw the ball over, and then called the and one.
He was
on
a
Josh
spectator
Hart,
for
bro.
that point.
Like,
And then they reviewed it.
like, bruh, like just let it go. Don't even do the 2-minute report, bro, on something like that, because you already know y'all gonna say we missed the foul. Everybody in the whole arena, everybody at the house, at the crib knew you missed that call.
But it does nothing for the
That's
win-loss
bro.
call.
They gotta change that. They got to. You gotta be able to overturn these games on something that crucial, or just silence the whistle, bro. Like if they're not gonna call that one, they shouldn't have called the one on Josh Hart, bro. Like you can't do that. You can't do that. It's been blatantly bad. But all right, enough for the best teams in the NBA. On to our last topic: Jake Paul versus Mike Tyson. The fight nobody asked for, but we all here for it. I'm here for it too. I'm not gonna lie. I've been seeing them little.
I might even buy it.
Bro, do you see them little IG videos of Mike swinging? Like, bruh. At this point, if he lose, the fix is in. Like, I don't know who. I don't care how old this man is. He still got a lot of power, and it's coming really fast. I don't know how.
And he's going straight at him.
Straight at the body, bro. Straight at. He gonna tear that body up, bro. Cause he already a little bit shorter, so he got the best center of gravity when it comes to them low punches. Bam, 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 uppercut. It's a wrap. But I mean, but again, Jake, he know how to pick him. So we're swiping left to right on this one.
Well, real quick, I'm gonna throw this story out and I'm gonna tell you. I remember being a kid, and it was my bedtime, right? Like I was supposed to go to bed. And my dad was like, "Oh, we're watching the Tyson fight." And I was like, "Oh, I want to stay up and watch the Tyson fight, you know?" And he was like, "You know what? Just let him stay up." So he let me stay up. Sure enough, like second round knockout, bro, because he knew it was gonna happen. And it was just like, all right, time to go to bed, you know? So I was like, dang. So long story short, we swiping left. I mean, everybody's gonna want to see this fight. There's a lot of talk about it, right? But no one saw it coming, like you said. But we're gonna swipe left. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, man. I mean, I feel like the pay-per-view numbers are gonna be crazy. Jake Paul, man, like we talked before, he's about that money. Cha-ching. He knows how to get it.
And he's making it.
And he's his own promoter. Like, I cannot ever knock his hustle. He's doing something for boxing that hasn't been done in a long time. He's revitalizing the sport. The fighters he picks, though, have always been questionable. This one, I got to give him props for, bro, because I'm not fighting Mike Tyson in his 50s. I know a lot of boxers
He's
that
throwing his
wouldn't,
neck
bro.
out there.
Exactly. Like him stepping in the ring. Now, again, I feel like the fix may be in because Mike getting paid regardless.
Yeah, old or not.
Mike getting paid regardless.
Yeah, old or not, he's going to land at least one solid.
Oh, yeah. He's not getting out there in face. I'm not saying that. But for him to win, even, to me, is a stretch, bro. Because Mike is in great condition for somebody his age, bro. Phenomenal condition. I don't know if it's the ayahuasca.
He's still wacko.
Right.
Like you're fighting
a crazy man. But difference here is that Mike he's more calm and reserved than he used to be. He actually likes Jake Paul. Like he's already talked about him in interviews.
I feel like if Mike gets out there, bro, and he starts thinking he's losing, he might bite his ear. He might bite his ear, bro.
I don't think, you saw him. You saw when he fought who was that? Not too long ago, the exhibition he had with Jones, Jim.
Yeah, I didn't see it, but I remember it, and it went the whole thing,
exactly.
Right?
And both of them looked old.
I think it was only 3 rounds or something like that. But.
So that's why I'm like, as much as I like Tyson, he is old and he might get tired.
Yeah.
He might get tired, bro.
He's going for the knockout,
He
man.
Gonna have to
in the first 3.
He got to, because I don't think he's gonna be able to just keep it going for 3-4 rounds.
Yeah.
All right, well, that is the end of the Contender segment, AJ.
Ding, ding, ding,
Yes,
ding,
sir.
ding.
On to your next one.
Yeah, man. We're about to go into function and order straight up, quick, fast, and furious.
Yes, sir.
So the first thing that comes to mind, VA, when I say NBA injuries.
First thing that comes to mind. I'm gonna have to say at this point, man, it's like the Black Plague. That's just what comes to
Yeah.
mind. It's like this sickness that is spreading across the entire NBA. I feel like what makes it even worse is that players feel like they have to rush back now so they can get these all NBA awards, so they can get their contract extensions for the max. We saw it with Tyrese Halliburton, him coming back from an injury quicker than he probably should have in order to try and get that accolade of all NBA or whatever that he's chasing so he can get his money. I mean, they agreed to the CBA, so at the end of the day, they have nobody to fault but themselves. But I
Yeah.
feel like there's going to have to be some adjustments made either with the contracts or with how they do all NBA or how they do these end of the season awards like MVP, because
Including receiving their money.
because you're going to end up having an MVP that should not have been. I mean, either that or we're going to have 5 years in a row of Nikola Jokic winning it. Like, I feel like that's going to happen because that man
Yeah.
don't hardly jump, so he ain't about to get hurt. And his numbers are always
Yeah.
going to be phenomenal, and they're going to be top 3 seed for at least the next 5 years.
But I think some of his game, he plays that way on purpose. You don't see him out there flying and crazy and doing all kinds
That's
of
why you don't see
crazy
Luka
things,
get like
'cause
hurt a lot. I think Luka gets hurt more because he's a true point guard and he just facilitates. I feel like all so much, and so people.
he's hurt now.
Right, exactly. But that's what I mean. Like, he hasn't been hurt. Not like all. He's not like one of the players you always see out for something nagging, like AD or Book.
Yeah, he's gonna play.
Or Kawhi. Like
Yeah, he's gonna play when
he's
he can
gonna
play.
He's gonna play through it at least. Like, he's not gonna. He's gonna LeBron it. He might have a nagging injury for 3 more months. You don't even know. You can't even tell the difference in his play. Like, that's another LeBron quality he carries. But I just feel like these injuries, man, like, they're gonna just keep getting worse and worse. Like, Bill, have you hardly seen him play this year? Like, it's with these top stars too, and
Bill.
Bradley Bill.
Oh,
And I know they had this new rule of like you can't rest 2 stars on the same night, and it's like that's going to be another conflict too. Like, it's just all these rules surrounding around players playing because the fans want to see the stars play, and I understand that, but
they're paying good money.
right, they are. But if you hurt, you hurt, and like forcing yourself back is only going to cause more injuries in my mind.
True, and it's happened in the past with KD and others. First thing that comes to my mind, I forgot what commercial it was, but it's that old man with the fishing pole. He's like, "Oh, you got to be faster than that."
Gotta be quicker than that. Quicker than that.
Yeah, that's the first thing that comes to mind, man. But right now, just a few names that are injured, right? As of right now, Luka, Kawhi, Karl Anthony Towns, Joel Embiid, Kobe White, and I mean, they were all starters.
Kobe
They're all
White was
big
just
name
playing. He just got
starters.
hurt.
Then you also have people, the longevity people that are always hurt. The Anthony Davises,
Even though he's been playing this year, we can't knock him this
Lonzo
year.
Ball,
Lonzo,
mean,
bro, that's
Ben Simmons.
Ben.
So, anyways, you're right. It's a play. Maybe they were being too quick, right? That's why they got hurt. But it's crazy because, like you said, they were going back. I mean, this was just a month or 2 ago. They were going back and forth about who's going to be MVP. Is it going to be Joel Embiid?
Right.
Is it going to be Nikola Jokic? Is it going to be somebody new this year? Kawhi, he's always injury prone. But even Karl Anthony Towns is a big one.
Right.
And
That was
so
huge.
that one is so detrimental to the team
Very.
because, like you said, they were the number 1 seed in the West. Like,
Tough.
that's a big deal.
Yes.
That's a big deal. And if they could have kept winning, they were at least, I want to say 3 or 4 games up before he went out. And so if they could have just, won, 50% probably of their games, they would still be top 3, So that's kind of scary for a franchise. But at the same time, like you said, these players got to get healthy and make a full recovery before they try and jump back on the court because then what's going to happen?
You got to.
Yeah. All right, VA. Moving to the next one, we kind of hit it a little bit. What's the first thing when I say Ben Simmons?
bro, and this really just popped into mind. Like, and the colors go so well with the black and white. First thing that comes to mind with Ben Simmons is the Hamburglar.
Got him! Got him!
This man
hungry, bro.
stealing everybody's money out in Brooklyn. He got the white and black and everything. This man is a menace, bro. Like, he just underwent another season-ending surgery.
Yeah.
It's like basically a tingle in his back. I'm not trying to downplay the man's injury because we just
I
talked
don't
about
even think he was back 2 weeks.
Bruh, like, he didn't even come back enough for me to catch a game, bro. That's how fast he went back out. Like, I was like, damn, all right, he about to play. Let's see what he talk about. All right, he hurt again. Like, damn. Like,
man.
it's getting ridiculous, bro. Like, I mean, I want to feel bad for the organization, but that's their dumb fault for trading for him. I mean, but at the end of the day, I don't think anybody could predicted him being out this long. Like, it's just gotten ridiculous. He is literally stealing money and like just stealing it. And I feel like he, as much as, you know, players are all about, you know, guaranteed money, he is going to hurt future contracts. Him and him alone. They are going to have new provisions in the next CBA that have to deal directly with this situation, because this dude went from a top 10 player to unplayable for the past 3 years.
Yeah, to maybe never playing ever.
Exactly, bro. Like, dude is afraid to shoot the basketball. Like, that is unheard of. Like, I'm all about mental health, bro. I'm all about getting yourself right. But at the end of the day, you gotta look yourself in the mirror and be like, what am I really afraid of? Is it ridicule? Is it not, you know, airballing the shot, not winning game? Like, what are you afraid of? You gotta get over this, bro. Like, this is just not right. It's just like you really are stealing money, bro. And that's why I call this man Hamburglar. He gonna be Hamburglar for the rest of the time I know him.
Look, for me, right, I guess the first thing that comes to mind for Ben Simmons is workman's comp. Because, or disability, I'm gonna say disability. Because to me, at this point, man, first I want to give Ben Simmons credit, right? When he came in the league, he came in the number 1 overall pick. Yeah. Before that, when he was in high school, he was balling out on people in Monteverde Academy.
At the LSU.
All the stars come from there.
Right.
Yeah. He went to LSU. He didn't go to, he went to a big name school, but he didn't go to like a major big name school. Like, he was just putting his talents out. LSU leaned on him. He's a scorer. He was a facilitator. He handled the ball. He was a passer. He getting rebounds. Okay, so I'm gonna give him the credit, right? But where I do have a problem is his injury, and only he knows, right, if it's legitimate or not. And I hope it is. But at the same time, right, like if you get hurt at work, right, me and you get hurt at work, and we go out, we got to make a full recovery. We come back, and then we get hurt again, and we come back, and we get hurt again. You start to get red flagged, right? Like, no matter what job you're at, like, people are like, okay, this guy, you know, if you're mopping floors at Walmart and you keep slipping, like, come on, man. You know, like, people are like, something's up, something's fishy. He's playing the system.
Exactly,
you know. And at this point, that's what I'm starting to lean on, because it's hard not to believe that a lot of it is mental. Like you said, I wouldn't say necessarily mental health, but I would say that people have gotten to his head so much that he's so worked up in his own mind that he can't do what he used to. Like, he got the case of the yips and
can't get right.
So I'm going to say disability / workman's comp, because that's exactly what goes through my mind. I don't see him ever playing the game again. I don't, because I don't even know where he's at now. He's still in Brooklyn, right? Bro. So he's still in Brooklyn. I think he played maybe 2 weeks, but when he came back, maybe like 2 games within that time, and then got hurt again. but they're not going to pick him up again. I think they just signed him for something crazy, and
that organization's silly.
he's going to
anyway,
get sent somewhere.
So
he's going to get sent somewhere because it's not worth it. It's not worth having him on your team, and then you're not going to get any big name players to go out there because he's basically James Harden.
Bro.
He's going to go or he's not going to play.
He got the coach fired. They literally said the coach said he had planned the offense and centered it around Ben Simmons, and he ain't even playing, bro. Like, that's the coach's fault. I don't know why he thought he was going to be back. Like,
I think that's just wishful thinking.
That was just stupid.
But, all right, VA, we're going to move on to the last portion of Function and Org. What's the first thing that comes to mind now when you hear the word or the name Nick Saban?
Good old Saint Nick. All right. First thing that comes to the mind is... I'm being honest. This what comes to mind is Fossil, a dinosaur, for lack of a better word. And that's not to disrespect him at all. I think he's one of the greatest college coaches to ever coach the game.
It's pretty hands down.
Hands
everywhere.
down.
I would assume.
Props to him for that, for a great career. But I have to say Fossil because this game is changing. The way it's coached changes. The way you handle these players is changing. And as you know, he recently came out and had an interview talking about those changes and how it was a direct correlation to him retiring, which everyone kind of hinted at. I mean, you don't go off and put Deion Sanders in a negative light without there being a deep-seated issue here. And it was clearly the NIL money that he could no longer compete with. I think, and the good thing about all this, as Deion has talked about, is that it's leveled the playing field. Like, you think it's fair that you always get the top recruits every year just because you're Alabama? No.
But he built it.
He did.
He did.
True.
Built it.
No, and again, props to him. But just because...
I'm playing devil's advocate.
Right. No, exactly. But this is just to counteract that. But... at the end of the day, it wasn't a level playing field. Like, you literally are getting NFL style O-line, and no one can do anything with it, bro. You're running all over the field. Like, again, you built it. You are right, 100% on that. But at the end of the day, like, just because you build something and you're the best at it doesn't mean that other people can't come and compete in a fair atmosphere. And I feel like, again, NIL has made it to where stars are now spread about. I feel like divas are now coming out into play because you can transfer so easily if you don't agree with a coach. The recruiting aspect of it now, I'm sure, has changed dramatically with the NIL. So that's just something he's not ready to deal with no more. And props to him, because I'd rather someone know that they failed than to try to adapt and act like you're embracing something that you're really not. Like, don't be faking it. Like, if this ain't for you, this ain't for you. Get up out of here. You made a lot of money.
I respect
good career,
that too.
Right? You know, but then if it's not you and you're gonna be here, you gotta change with the times then.
You're right, 100%. Again, like you said, I'm not gonna throw out the same thing because you already did it. I respect Nick Saban. He's probably one of the greatest coaches of all time as far as college, as I'm concerned. But I will say that he's an old scallywag. And he's just an old timer, man, and he's stuck in his ways, and I don't blame him for it, right? Like, he built what he built. Credit to him, and credit to the program and everything that he worked hard towards. But like you say, times change, and change is gonna come.
Right.
It's happening everywhere, right? And he bowed out when he didn't want to change, and so I respect that. But change is happening everywhere. I'm not gonna lie to you. I remember back in high school, right? If I wanted to play college, I always thought about, like, the coaches. Like, they have to manage the players. They're big-headed, you know. They're young. That's a lot to handle just right there alone.
Exactly.
You know, you're coming out big man on campus, or I got this offer and this offer, but I'm here, and I'm gonna make the league and all this other stuff, right? But it's not the league. And so they're not really playing for anything, but now they have something to play for with their name and likeness, right? And they're making money, and it is a little bit of a show. Since Dion came on board, everything's a show, and everybody wants to be a part of the show.
Right.
That's part of the change, And Nick Saban's not about being the show. He's about putting out the game, and the game's going to speak for itself,
Right.
and we're going to do things the way we do it, and that's the way it's going to happen. It didn't happen that way. They were still up there. I think they lost 2 games last year, which is
Still phenomenal. Still
great.
made it to the playoff.
Yeah, so like you said, I got to give credit to Nick Saban. I'm definitely glad that he didn't overstay his welcome.
Right.
He bowed out when he needed to. But it is really important, right, that a lot of people were right, and a lot of people saw that. And I hope when people saw that, they also saw, like, they're acknowledging the change is happening within. It's going to be interesting to see future changes to, like, this NIL stuff and what coaches can and cannot do, because right now the leash is long, and it's going to be curious to see them make any changes.
Right. Agreed.
Well, that wraps up Function Nor VA. What we got next?
Yes, sir. We get into the last segment of the day. Gonna switch it up a little bit this time. Normally do All on the Family here, but sometimes we like to get a little spicy with it. So we got a new segment we want to introduce to y'all called Got Beef. And the highlight of today's,
I feel like we gotta roll the Biggie,
right?
The Biggie song.
Let's beef. But first topic for this segment, just gonna be one, but the first one for the Got Beef segment, and then the inaugural segment is gonna be Saquon Barkley versus your boy Tiki Barber. It's the battle of the 2 giant running backs. As you may or may not know, Tiki Barber got a little show. Who doesn't now, right? A little podcast show. And they talked about Saquon Barkley making that move to that rival, from the rival Giants from the Giants over to the rival Eagles. And as a former running back for the Giants, Tiki Barber said, "You're dead to me, son. You're dead." And now he did say it kind of tongue-in-cheek. It was clearly a jokey atmosphere, but he did repeat it several times. This prompted Saquon to get spicy with your boy. Went on Twitter talking about
X.
Right now, X went on there talking about how you always been a hater. You never liked your boy. Want to talk about loyalty? I was here hold my teammates down. Now I'm paraphrasing, but I was here hold my teammates down. Giants don't want me anymore. I got to get paid. Somebody got to pay your boy. I'm gonna take my services over to the Eagles.
And he
got it. Got paid. Getting paid the most. So, I mean, it seemed like there might have been some underlying tension there. Like, because for him to say you always been a hater is kind of like, whoa. Like y'all been had issues. But if it's me looking at it from outside in, Tiki should have never said that, bro. Like, first off, you as someone who played for the Giants, retired a Giant, I understand your feelings and your, this is your team, your ride or die. But at the end of the day, they didn't want him. They put him on a franchise tag for a reason. The man couldn't stay healthy. And I like him. He's a good running back. But at the end of the day, the Giants didn't want him. Why are you speaking for them? Like, the man, like, as a former running back, you should want him to get paid. Even if it's not going to be with the Giants, who were clearly not going to pay that. Like, you should have been mad about them signing Daniel Jones and keep that same energy for that. Versus putting it towards your boy Saquon, who's just trying to make a living. He only been playing 5 years. You had 10 years with the Giants. Probably could have played longer if you decided to leave the Giants, but you wanted to retire there. Cool. This man only been there 5 years. He ain't got no loyalty to them past that last paycheck he got, the last season where he played. So I think, a long time ago. So I think Tiki definitely overstepped his boundaries. I feel like Saquon kind of jumped out there though, like a little bit harsh. But again, it could be it seemed like there's some history between them for him to come out like that.
Yeah, for sure. There got to be something we don't know about. There's a few things that I want to touch on, right? The first thing is like the old man mentality, right? Like these old heads coming out and they're just talking about what the young players are doing and they're not happy about it for one sort of another. And it's like, just stay in your lane, man. Like you ain't even got to say anything. You done did your time.
Facts.
Yes, you have a place to say things, right? But at the same time, like let the youngins do their thing. There are sometimes, right, like Shaquille O'Neal, right? He has that G14 classification, right? And Tiki Barber is one of those people, right? Like he's out there, true tried and played the sport at a high level for a long time. He's in the Ring of Honor. So he gets that respect, right? But stay in your lane. You don't have no reason to come at somebody unless there is some underlying information to talk about. He is in the Ring of Honor. I don't know if he's won any Super Bowls. He might have won one. I don't know.
Yeah, I think he won one with Eli.
If it was during that time.
At least one. I think him and Strahan, I think we played together. And I think they got one together.
But anyway,
big gap.
But if you're Saquon Barkley, man, like you're out there doing the next best thing for you. If they're not trying to keep you, move on, make your money. And he made it. Like that's what he's got to do.
Right.
I don't know why anybody would be on somebody else next best success route and jump down on them for nothing, basically.
Yeah, bro. I mean, at the end of the day, if Saquon was a lineman and first string or fifth string, and he made this move over to Philadelphia, no one would bat an eye. Mm-hmm. It's all about Saquon being a top 3 pick when he came out the draft, him carrying the team whenever they actually made the playoffs and beat that fraudulent Vikings team who was number 1 that year. It's just all about him being the face of the franchise and the commercials, like him being so visible and being visibly attached to the Giants. That's hurting, I think, that hurts in the hearts of these Giants fans and former players.
Oh, no doubt about it. But at the same time, when you look at that and you're a Giants fan, right, are you going to look back up there and say, oh, we're putting Saquon in the Ring of Honor, we're going to retire his jersey? Like, did he do anything that worth
5 seasons?
Like,
no.
So when the man moves on,
bro, he couldn't even beat the Cowboys.
That's true. I think he did beat them. He did. We was on the down.
They didn't beat him one time,
he
bro.
had to have.
I don't think they.
We were bad a few years ago.
And even though we was that bad, they were still worse.
But you might be right, but I don't know. We were bad.
He can never beat us.
But long story short, man, old heads, you got to stay in the game, but I mean, come step correctly. Like they're adult men too. They're out there doing what you do now in a different change of pace, a different level of play. I would say people are more athletically inclined than back then. Like the whole situation, different positions, everything. Things are coming out a lot faster. There's social media out there they ain't had to deal with. There's just a bunch of change, just like we talked about earlier. And it's like, hey, if you want to use your G14 classification, you better make sure you use it correctly, because you can get called out for it and it will get revoked.
I mean, and that's the biggest thing for me is that I think what's even more mind-boggling is that this man is a former running back. So he knows, he can look in the climate and see how hard it is for these men to get paid, bro, past their first contract. Yeah. He knows that's difficult. So for you to be mad or talking down on him getting his coins from one of the only teams that would give it to him, like you think any other team is giving him that much money, bro?
It don't matter. He's gone.
Almost $13 million a year. Yeah. Exactly. It ain't gonna happen. Yeah. Like, let that man make his money. You know how hard it is for these running backs. They trying to take.
And maybe some of that treatment he's dishing
one
out.
Contract.
That Tiki Barber's dishing out. Maybe he was receiving that. Maybe that's another reason why he's gone. He's the only one that's been vocal. I wouldn't doubt if there was some more that been vocal.
Right. He just a hater, bro. Yeah.
Well, VA.
All right. Either way, good episode, man. Good topics.
Yeah, we chalk it up. It's all fun and games.
Right. Till you get called in the HR.
Yes, sir.
Appreciate y'all for tuning in. Until next time.
Deuces.
Deuces.